not encouraged further attempts. Having some experience with taciturn Alaskan men, Caitlin wasn't convinced of Nikolai's lack of interest in Savannah's conversation, though it was clear the other woman was. Her expression dazed. Savannah's focus was entirely on the passing scenery now. Therefore, she did not see the sidelong glances Nikolai cast her way every few miles. Caitlin would be content to finish the ride in silence. She had a lot of practice at surviving this kind of tension, but being back in Alaska was calling to her true nature, to the woman she'd buried deep and tried to forget. The Alaskan girl with a friendly, curious nature her ex had worked hard to suppress, if not destroy, completely. Caitlin wasn't going to let him win. She remembered the final bit of advice from her therapist at their last appointment. Leaving your husband isn't going to help you if you continue to live as if he's still looking over your shoulder. Every day might be an effort to reconnect to the world in a meaningful way, but Caitlin was a fighter, no matter how little that had shown in the past years of her life. "How old is Joey?" she asked Savannah, noticing Nikolai tensing, as if waiting for a reply as well. "He's 6. Does he like school?" "I've, been homeschooling him. He's smart, really, really smart." That at least brought some spark to the other woman's demeanor. Nikolai barked out, "Why are you homeschooling the boy?" "The boy has a name." From Savannah's tone, her attitude toward Nikolai was sliding from overwhelmed to irritated. His expression unchanging, his tone showing no overt annoyance at the need to repeat his question, just the same gruff demeanor, Nikolai asked, "Why not put Joey in school?" Nevin would have been furious if she had ever stood up to him the way Savannah held her own against Nikolai. Strangely, the other woman's response triggered gratitude in Caitlin for her own freedom. She never had to pretend to be fine to placate a dangerously angry husband again. "I thought homeschooling was common in Alaska," Savannah asked, rather than answer. Nikolai grunted. Was he annoyed Savannah hadn't answered his question? "In a lot of places, it is, but Cailkirn has always had its own elementary school," Caitlin hastened to assure her, continuing a patina of babble in hopes of smoothing over the growing tension inside the truck. "It's small, but the community is always ready to pitch in. Once the children reach middle school, they have to bus to one of the bigger schools." "How does that work in winter?" Savannah asked, her soft southern drawl drawing Nikolai's attention, though she didn't seem to notice. "It's not bad. Sometimes children miss days because of extreme conditions, whether because the carpool from Cailkirn can't make it to the bus route to drop the kids at their stop, or sometimes because the buses aren't running. It really doesn't happen as often as you might expect." "We're prepared for the weather," Nikolai inserted. "Some parents send their teens to college prep boarding schools." Muscles that she hadn't been aware were tightening in Caitlin's neck and shoulders relaxed, as it became apparent there wasn't going to be a full-blown argument. "No," Savannah said with unexpected force and a glare for Nikolai that Caitlin wasn't sure he'd earned with his simple observation. "I'm not sending my child away to school." Nikolai shrugged. "There are some years before we have to consider high school." Savannah visibly deflated, whether from relief at that fact or the man's dismissal of her concerns, Caitlin could not tell. "My grandmother didn't send me away to boarding school, and I didn't have any problems at university, coming from the local high school. In fact, her college years shone as bright beacons on the map of her life, not least of which because her best friend, Tack MacKinnon, had opted to attend USC as well. She'd loved life in California those first few years. Panic welled at memories of Nevin's reaction when she told him she wanted to go to Tack's graduation a year after she'd married. She'd had some crazy idea of renewing her friendship, at least enough that they could send the occasional email or Christmas card. Nevin had made it very clear that was not acceptable. Ignoring the rise